I don't know if you're going to notice it too much, but this video may be a little disjointed, mainly because I've been working here at this shop, went over to Don's shop, and now I'm back in my shop and then putting together another machine, and I've lost track of where I am. All I know is I need to finish these two little parts for the Kingway. Then I got one little bitty tiny part to make and it's done. And I'm sure you recognize this part. This is the part I took over to Don's and squared it up and got that little slot on it. Now I have to take in on this face, bore a hole and ream it 625, and then on this face I've got to tap a hole for a thumb screw, I think 5/16/18. Now I made this way kind of with the thought of holding it in the mill, or excuse me, in the lathe. And the reason it's square right now is because I wanted to offset the center of the bore hole so that I would have more meat along the outside edge for the thumb screw and a little piece of brass to keep from marring the stainless steel shaft. So that's why I made it perfectly the same 1.44 on all four sides. It's a perfect cube. And I can hold this in a 4-jaw, but it will offset the hole this way because I'm not taking into account this little ledge right here. So I'm gaining, 3/16 of an inch of meat on the sidewall of that bore, so I'll have enough for a piece of brass. That's the reason I did it. I need a 4-jaw on old Bob. Now, Bob set up for collets and everything else. Bob's got the unique feature of a spindle lock right there. Always put your piece of wood underneath your chuck. That way if it falls off, it doesn't dent up your ways. Oh, go into my secret stash of chucks. That's not secret, it's just down there. Wipe everything off real good before you put it on. Clean out this. Bob's got a threaded spindle. It's nice because it makes it easy. And I usually leave a 1/2-inch collet in the nose there. It makes it nice because you can do different things. The only bad thing about a lathe with a threaded spindle is if you're doing heavy work in reverse, the thing will unscrew on you, so be careful. But I had an old heavy tin for 34 years, so I'm kind of used to threaded spindles. Now, I'm going to turn on the little camera. I think you can see. Unlock feature of Bob is it won't turn on if that lock is in gear. So you got to pull it off. Then it'll work. Now, I got to turn these around because the part I'm gripping is going to be small. So, there we go. And we'll lock the spindle for this again. See, by going that way, I unlocked the spindle. Damn, that's on there tight. I don't remember doing that tight. Wow, that's too tight. I don't know my own strength. Someday I'll find another 4-jaw chuck for Bob, so I don't have to do this every time. Over the lifetime of doing this, it gets old quickly. Now, always remember, these are numbered. Clean them off before you put them back on. Get them seated before you tighten them up too, because you don't want to be forcing them into that keyway. Okay. Now this is an independent 4-jaw chuck. So unlike a 3-jaw scroll chuck, all of these jaws come out on an independent nature. So you kind of got to get them back into line. See where we're going to put these. Now, help with this process, I went and I put some guidelines on there, and that top little crosshatch is where the hole needs to be. So now I can use those lines, whoa, I went way far, to locate where I want this to be. We'll run these all in until they touch that flat, and then we'll go from there. So I need to come out one turn. Let's go back in. Okay. One turn. there. One turn. That right there. Okay. Okay. Now I could use Bob to make sure my hole's in the right spot. I want to swing around here. Y'all hold on. This is a center drill. And we can bring this up and see where we are on this. Unfortunately, I gotta have some more light. And that really sometimes washes out all of my, need some new glasses too. I'm new to the world of wearing glasses all the time. And I'm not really sure which glasses I need to wear all the time. I can look at my line there and I can see this needs to be pushed over that way. So take a little bit off this side, push it over this way. I'm looking right at the flute of that drill. Now if I look this way, I need to, with that. Now I'm just going to spin this with my hand while putting a little force here. And that'll take a little dimple out. I can go back and I can see where my dimple is. And if you look at my dimple, it's a little bit too low and a little bit over that way. So I need to push that way and this way down. So we're going to take a little bit here, take up some going that way. And then we need to come this way. So I'll loosen off of this one. Tighten up on this one. Let's see if I've totally screwed this up or not. Okay, we're up high enough. I just need to go that way some. And bingo, I'm on my line. So now we got it tightened up almost everywhere. Okay, let's drill. I'm going to set it up because we're in the center. I'm going to go to my second gear, which should be about right at 950 RPMs. I don't know if you can see that. I'm going to see about doing that in slow motion. But this is offset now by that diameter, it's in the center of the overall dimension of the block, but because it's got this cutout part here, it looks like it's off. But it's not. Okay. Tools are clear. Kind of shaky up here, guys. I'm going to turn that light off now. I made something for you last week and it was so damn bright with that light that y'all couldn't see it. So I'm suffering for you. Okay, got us a nice center started. Now this is the boring bar set up for what I want to do. I'm going to move this over, take it out. For a simple reason. Simple reason is Bob doesn't have a tailstock. So Bob doesn't know exactly where the center of this hole is on his carriage unless I tell it to, which I have. I've put a 1/2 inch collet inside the spindle and lined this block up with a rod so that when I move this carriage back to this stop back here, it's on dead center. And I did the same one with the reamer there. So I'm going to put in the drill bit that I need to drill to run that reamer through here. Swing it around, lock it in place, turn it on. Put a little of magic elixir on it. Now we're going to swing the reamer around. Lube it up good. Put a little in here. A little bit behind my ears. Run the reamer through it. No, you can't see me. I'm reaching down here to turn off this lathe. Working with my old heavy tin for so many years, the switch was right here. It's just habit. On any lathe, any lathe I've ever used, that's where I reach for. But now, I'm going to take this out by loosening two. That way I don't lose the position of the other two. And I can put the block back in it. So now I have my off-centered hole. I'm going to put it back in there, and I'm going to see if I can put a little bitty chamfer on that. I'm going to use a handheld chamfer tool for that little thing. Voila. So now, as so many things I do, when you start making stuff, you start having ideas. Well, this kind of looks clunky. You know, chunky, square. So I got a thought about how I can make it look a little bit better. But first, I need to go ahead and drill and tap the hole for this. And I'm just going to run out to the other drill press. Y'all seen tapping holes, haven't you? I'll be back. I brought this in here so y'all could see, and I won't have to move cameras around. My friend made tap holder or tap gauge for our guide. I drilled this hole, put a little bevel on it to make it easier. It lined up. And if I would go to the right size hole, it'd be a lot easier. There's the right size hole. Headed in a 3/16 hole. Oh, this stuff going down in the hole. Like I said, these are spiral point taps. This forces the, I'll back it out and show you. This just forces all the cuttings out the bottom of this hole, out in front of the tap. So you don't have to do this back and forth like crappy taps. You can just sit there and keep on turning. I showed you another part of the video about the spiral flute tap, where I used it for a different purpose, bottom hole. The spiral flutes make the cuttings come out this way. If you're not using spiral point taps and spiral flute taps, you're making your life hard on yourself. See how fast and easy that was? Usually I'd put that in a gun or a drill motor and just be done with it by now. I wanted to do this before I do my next operation, so I have some easy way of holding it and lining up the tap so it goes straight through. So now I did, because pretty soon all these square edges are going to go away. So now we're tapped 5/16, 18 through here, goes into the bore, and this is reamed for 625. Now, when I tapped this, I don't know if you can see deep in there, I pushed a lot of metal through there. And now if I were to put this on that stainless steel shaft, it's not going to fit. I'll get you back up here where you guys can see the other stuff. All right. Maybe you could see it this way in the light. Focus camera. It's having a hard time. Take my word for it, okay? So what I'm going to do is just put this on this reamer. Get it straight in there, because you know it's a precision hole, so it's got to be straight as it goes in there. Then I'm just going to hand ream this out. Then it'll fit on that shaft. There we go. Good to go. Now, I'm going to pull the reamer out because it sticks out a long way. And because I don't need to use it anymore, I'm going to put it in its case. And also, because I finally got smart in my old age, I'm going to take out the drill bit that is necessary for that reamer, put it in its case, and keep the two together. That way you don't have to look for them every dang time. I know you got to buy more drill bits, but you do much of this stuff, it pays for it in the long run. Usually I take and rubber band these together. Oh, floor's getting a long way down there. So they're ready to go. So now we have all the boring and threading and drilling needed on here. And I could use it just like this, but I think it looks a little clunky. Let me show you what its purpose is. Its sole purpose is to fit this small base like this and clamp onto it and slide up and down the rail of that Kingway, or the top rail, side rail, whatever. But, you know, it doesn't look bad, but I was wondering if maybe I could round off these corners a little bit so it wouldn't be so clunky looking. It's worth a shot. So I don't want this base messed up. I want to take this angle and round the corners a little bit. Let's see if we can. Because luckily, remember, all these had the same sides, so it should all fit in there. Back to where it looked good. It's not working. This may just be asking for trouble. I'll go down to first gear so it's going slow, and I'll turn it way down. Let's see how that looks. Well, that doesn't look too bad at all. Let's go take a very light test cut and see what it looks like. Go a little bit faster. Like it took some off there, took some off there, it took just beginning right there, and nothing right there. Let's go a little deeper. Going to pull out here, make sure this is engaged in the right direction. Yeah, be going away. Three-legged horse. I'm really not hitting there, and it's hitting here. There's the fourth leg right there. With this not hitting over here, it's hitting there. It's not hitting here. To make it hit, I'd have to move this in and move number one down one down and two down. One down, two down. Sure it didn't screw up too bad and make it hit something. Okay, let's see if we can get a four-legged horse out of this. Touch off. Sounds better. There, 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 and there. It's not quite even on this one. So to make it more, I'd have to push down on two and just a little bit down on two would be best. So let's loosen this in a tad. Push down on two. Bring back, spin it. It's hitting a little bit there, so back off. Two, three. That looks pretty good. I think that's going to be pretty good. So now what would it look like? We'll take a little bit more. If nothing else, it's just got a nice chamfer on all the edges. All right, executive decision. I'm going to stop. There's sometimes when you can go too far with your ideas. Now right now I've got some you know, nice squared off, and I can match that with the sander. And then when I finish everything, I think it'd be okay. The problem I'm running into is, you know, it'd be nice if I could get it down to that diameter right there of that circle. But if I do, I lose my meat for my piece of brass in there. And then I had thought I could get it down that far and then turn it around and use the circle part that I've turned to make this. But frankly, it's too damn much. This will work just fine. Next one I can get fancy on.